How did we used to solve problems without the digital tools we have now? Ancient methods of problem solving are essentially the same as the scientific process, but primitive strategies mostly consisted of a trial and error system. We used to have the most basic levels of logic and reasoning to answer the questions based on survival. How are we going to get food? How are we going to protect each other from predators? Problem solving evolved through the ages along with the human race. But despite many different types and strategies for problem solving, there are basic guidelines. A problem solving strategy is a plan of action used to find a solution. Lumen. General problem solving starts with the identification of the issue or problem. You would ask questions like, is the problem simple or complex? Does the problem have multiple components or variables? Can I apply previous knowledge to the problem to solve it quicker? The next step in problem solving is creating a strategy. All great acts of genius began with the same consideration. Do not be constrained by your present reality. Leonardo da Vinci. Many great philosophers paved the way for problem solving, and they paved the way for the problem solving techniques of today most of all. Despite excellence in skill, Leonardo da Vinci and Cicero had problems with persuasion in the ancient world. It was more difficult for them to persuade others of a solution than to come up with the solution in the first place. Cicero's thought process put emphasis on persuasion of solution. Did technology help us solve more problems? Yes, technology allowed us to utilize information exponentially faster than the days of quill and paper. We have access to almost unlimited information because of the internet. What used to be very difficult calculations can be completed very quickly using computers in the modern age. Essentially, computers operate on addition or basic switches in binary, composed of ones and zeros. But they can do it so fast that they can do incredible calculations in a short amount of time. Technology in the digital age has even allowed us to create new problem-solving techniques that are specified to a certain task. Trial and error is the oldest and most common type of problem-solving strategy. Also known as guess and check, this problem-solving strategy is trying multiple logical solutions until you reach the desired solution that satisfies the problem at hand. Another problem-solving strategy is algorithms. Algorithms consist of multiple logical steps to directly solve your problem, typically mathematics-oriented. Last but not least, we have heuristic problem solving. While an algorithm must be followed exactly to produce a correct result, a heuristic is a general problem-solving framework. Tversky and Kahneman, 1974. A heuristic can come in different forms, but they are all based on a rule of thumb, or an accurate but vague principle. The digital age has also brought the ability to learn from the past really quickly. Pictures and documents from throughout time can be found on the internet and can be learned from in a moment's notice, thus making it much easier to not repeat the past. For example, Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX, referenced the first principle thinking, an ancient doctrine of Aristotle's. Within first principle thinking, there are 4 steps. The first step is identification of course, but it has an emphasis on dreaming big. Nothing is too expensive for the future of the company. This is a common mindset that Musk practices. Step 2 is to make a list of the reason you think you can't solve the problem. This step breaks down your problem into smaller parts, and in the first principle of thinking, you're encouraged to break down the problem into the smallest pieces possible. Steps 3 and 4 are, respectively, make a list of any and all obvious solutions that you think would solve the problem, but that don't solve the problem adequately. Ask yourself the question, if the problem doesn't exist and I can create a solution based on desire, what would that solution be? Strauss. This abstract thought process was harnessed by Aristotle in the 300s before common time and is used to gain advantages in the digital world of today. Did technology create new problems that we're not aware of? The age of technology created many new problems, such as internet or electronic device addiction. There are many types of addiction. However, the main types consist of video game, gambling, and social media addiction. Another issue with the digital age is privacy. The NSA can monitor you from cameras on your devices at any time, and 23andMe was caught selling U.S. citizens' private DNA samples to the FBI. How would we solve the problems of privacy and technology? These problems were not addressed immediately at the beginning of the digital age, and damage can be seen in modern-day America. Fixing these problems is probably completely impossible at this point, but there are many things we can do to mitigate these issues. Screen time is a problem for the youth of the nation and can be monitored and mitigated by using screen time reminders on your phone or other devices. A lot of this screen time can be attributed to the main addictions. Online gambling is a huge problem and is easily falsified as well. Gambling addiction has been around for many years, but the influence of the internet and easy access has created a never-before-seen gambling epidemic. The only thing that you and I can do about gambling addiction is knowing the symptoms and helping others seek help, preferably psychiatry. Video game addiction is very much like gambling addiction in that you should seek professional help. Social media addiction, on the other hand, can be treated by friends and family. Psychology is recommended for social media addiction, but practicing talking to people and being more active can help cure social media addiction. Solving the issue of privacy is a different story. Governments, secret services, and other state-owned organizations have already violated the right to privacy for millions of people around the globe. Fort Knoxter. If we are to combat these privacies, it would essentially be to combat the government itself. Cyber scams are also another huge issue with technology. Linked to privacy, some tools for combating online scams are using virus and malware protection, learning how to avoid phishing, the importance of deleting cookies or clearing the web browser history, and deleting older comments made on different websites, especially Facebook. Fort Knoxter. With the modern age comes advanced spyware, which we have little control over, but it is important to negate possible addictions or scams that can take place within technology. With the modern age comes advanced spyware, which we have little control over, but it is important to negate possible addictions or scams that are within your control. To conclude, here are some other helpful problem-solving strategies. Sleeping on it, figuring out what you need to tackle and waiting, separating the problem into bite-sized parts, working on a timeline, using a network, and making sure to take a break. Other problem-solving strategies include making drawings, making flowcharts, adopting different points of view, accounting for possibilities, organizing data, finding patterns,